Federal investigators from the U.S. government are checking into the black boxes, listening to the actual details, looking at the actual instrument data that came from this. They actually flew the black boxes back to Washington, D.C., where they can be examined. They're doing a forensic examination of the plane itself. Eventually, they're going to actually take apart the plane engines and everything else to figure out exactly what happened. Now, the airline has come out and said that there were no, in fact, mechanical problems with the airplane, but not saying what happened. When you look at those images, it's simply amazing that only 2 people were killed. That said, 182 people were taken to local San Francisco Bay Area hospitals. Now, this flight, Asiana 214, took off from Shanghai at about 5 o'clock Shanghai time, flew to Seoul, where it picked up a number of other passengers, and then continued on a 10.5-hour flight, roughly 10.5 hours, from Seoul to San Francisco. There were no signs of any problems, even into the landing. You can listen to, in fact, I've even tweeted out the audio of, from the control tower, of the conversation between the plane and the control tower. And only seconds before landing can you hear them deciding that they need to go around, that they try to give the plane some more engine, apparently more gas. Apparently what happened was they accelerated, pulled up on the throttle that caused the tail to hit the seawall just as you wanted to approach the landing strip there at the San Francisco airport. The tail hit, the plane skidded out of control, spun around on the airway, came into a grassy area between 2 runways, only about 100 feet from United Airlines flight about to take off on another runway. And from there, the passengers fled from the plane, some actually going into the water, into the shallow water there of the San Francisco Bay, others actually waiting for the chutes to deploy and leaving from the plane. As I mentioned, 182 people taken to local hospitals. San Francisco airport is back up and running. You can see all that debris scattered, the pieces of the plane, the luggage and so on, scattered all the way from the site of the crash straight out to right where the water is and where the actual collision initially took place.
Yep, and all accounted for because there were some reports on Sunday evening that maybe one was unaccounted for, according to the fire department in San Francisco. But we know that tragically 2 people died in this, but all on board have now been counted, right?
Yeah, Susan, everyone was accounted for. You can imagine it was a fairly chaotic situation. That said, the San Francisco Police Department was on the scene exactly 7 minutes after it landed. Now, this plane, this Boeing 777, is one of the 12 that Asiana has in their fleet. And the plane was added to the fleet in 2006. As I mentioned, there were 307 passengers and crew members on the plane, not least of which I think 60 students and teachers who left from China for a summer abroad, if you will, an educational program here in California. And you can see the flight that took. Now, once that plane came into San Francisco, that's, of course, when the problems showed up. Now, one of the things that happened, interestingly, social media taking effect here. There was a Samsung executive, a kind of well-known guy here, David Yoon, a Samsung guy, formerly of Google and of America Online, of AOL. He got off the plane safely and immediately tweeted out a picture, as did Sheryl Sandberg, the chief operating officer of Facebook, who said that, in fact, she was going to be on that flight. She says, we switched to United so we could use miles of my family's tickets. And then her family actually took a different flight. And she mentioned that David was on the flight. David Yoon's picture really went viral on social media. He put it out on Path and on Twitter, and it captured this image. He wrote, feeling a little shaky from yesterday's experience, as we wrote today, but strengthened by outpouring of support from all over. The picture that he put up also really shocking, because you can see the smoldering plane sitting there in the runway. Now, his Twitter account, you see in that graphic there that he's got 25,000 followers. He had about 2,000 followers before he snapped this image, and which, as I said, when it was picked up and taken over all over the world, David Yoon declining any media requests to talk about the matter, but clearly a terrifying situation for anyone involved, and amazing that the casualties were so limited.